Alright. We are here with a series from the Gladiator Cup that was just played recently. A big $5,000 online tournament, and none other than Serral was playing up here in the top left side of the map, going for an early spawning pool first opening, and he's facing off against, of course, the Korean powerhouse Terran, the guy who finally got that GSL championship after many years of fighting for it, Kua. I was so happy to see him. You know, he was the online king before that. He was like, hey, Q is really good as a guy who can win a pro league match, you know, like back on Jin Air and stuff. Q was always a good Terran, but he was always in the shadow of Maru, Rogue, and SOS and those guys. So he's come into his own, and he's become one of the most solid players out there. And what I love about Q is his ability to play in an online tournament. I can cast him and be like, he's going to have to adapt and adjust because his opponent's going to do this and that. And then he just does the most generic play you've ever seen and just steamrolls his opponents. It's actually sick how good his solid standard play is. On the other hand, you have to play a bit different versus Serral. It's kind of funny, right? I feel like Raynor forces you to be a bit more aggressive to try and catch him off guard, or a bit greedier. Serral, it's kind of interesting because I feel like you want to play a pretty standard game, but you just want to be really careful to not let him get the fights that he wants. And what I mean by that is Serral tends to stay a bit lower on economy and a bit heavier on army than other army than other top Zergs, right? So he's going to be more wanting to crush you when the engagement happens and only then build the drones afterwards. He plays on a lower economy than a guy like Raynor, who really pushes that greed. Now, this pool first, normally a really good opening if the Reaper comes across and they don't scout, but this is a command center first. So the command center is already finished. There's no vulnerable SCV building the command center. Single Marine, with the help of that depot, can push back those Zerglings, and Serral not able to really find anything. So already, Serral's a little bit behind in this opening because he's gone pool first, which puts him about one drone behind, and Q has gone command center first, which puts him a couple SCVs ahead. So that does combine to give Q the edge. However, the factory's much later. The Hellions will be late, you know, because of the way all this adds together. Maybe not that much later, actually, because he only went one Marine. He did do the double gas follow-up. But definitely you don't have the same aggressive timings that you might normally as the Terran. Even just a 20-30 second delay on your Hellions getting over there, or, you know, a Banshee or a battle cruiser or anything, it does give the Zerg a bit more freedom to be greedy. But Serral does not have greed in mind. He's going for a Roach Warren. That's cool. Now, this is one of the shortest rush distance maps in the pool. From here across to here is very, very short. You get there in no time, which is why Roach Aggression can be so powerful here. And that is why, honestly, if I was Q, I've gone CC first. He should be swapping this starport over and building a Banshee. Or, actually, he's planning a Marauder push. So he's going to be going for the Medevac Marauder Hellbat. So this is a really interesting clash, because this can... It can just even out, or it can go massively one way or the other. Because a Roach push, obviously... Marauders are great versus Roaches. You get 2 or 3 Marauders out, you'll be fine to defend. But you can't really attack because Roaches are so good at clearing up the Hellions and the Hellbats. The Viking, its job is to try and deny the scouting. Serral has not really gone in for a sacrifice yet. It's just hidden in the back, so he hasn't seen anything. And the Queens are also making this look like a reasonably standard macro game. So the Hellions haven't really seen any signs of these Roaches coming out. So the Roaches are probably going to try and sneak across 11 Roaches. That's such a big commitment for Serral. So it's a 35 drone Roach push here. Now, Kua actually has the more economic build. Usually the play in these scenarios is whoever realizes what's happening first, pull back, swap into a defensive mode. You can't really get too much done. Maybe Serral with 11 Roaches can kill a few depots, but he's not going to be able to push in much further than that, and the Hellions still haven't seen it. Kua, Kua could be caught off guard here. This could be a big problem. Now, those Roaches... Okay, 3 Marauders, though. Viking is up. Armory's almost there. Hellions are going to move out. How many Hellions does he lose? Good reaction by Kua so far, but those 3 Hellions... Oh, no, he's going to lose those 3 Hellions. Kua, he needs to split those off, but... Oh, my God, they're going to try and drive straight past the Roaches. Okay, he does only lose 1 Hellion and an SCV so far. These Hellions on the left side are still grouping up, though. Oh, man. Oh, he doesn't have the Armory, so he can't morph Hellbats to tank, but with the landed Viking and the concussive Marauders, the slow Roach is not that microable. So Kua here, happy to try and just kind of take him out there. He's got the concussive, but a lot of Hellions have fallen for not that many Roaches. 3 Roaches for 7 Hellions. It's a good trade so far. Serral can't really get out of there, though, because the Marauders can chase him down. The Hellions are much faster as well, and he's going to have to just try and run back and then turn and get as many kills as he can. He knows that he's not getting home with these units, and yeah, there we go. So what started as a great fight for Serral, we see turns pretty south for him. That being said, Kua did lose a lot of Hellions, so he doesn't really have that I'm surprised he's not going across the map immediately with these Marauders. And then he could do the Hellion run by on the natural while the Marauders drop up here on this right angle. Serral's going to try and take a fourth. He's droning like mad. He's only got 3 Roaches. 2 Zerglings, 5 Queens. So he's going to try and defend with, what, 5 Roaches now and 5 Queens. But the Marauders are going out that side. Hellions are down here. Now, he should know there's no Ling speed, so Kua doesn't really need to stay on the defense, and indeed, those Hellions will work that left angle. Marauders going into the main base. With the Medevac Micro, he could be very annoying here. Stim is almost done. 13 seconds till Stim's done, so Stim Marauders could be really good. He wants to get rid of that hatchery, but Queens, Marauders are really bad at killing Queens. They just do so little damage to them. That being said, he could focus the hatchery down if he wants to. The Hellions coming in that left side. This is that 2-prong we were talking about. Serral's up to 65 workers and going for Spire, but oh, the Hellions are going to drive on in. We've got a Viking on that right side starting to take out some Overlords as well. Already 7 worker kills, and the Hellions aren't done just yet. The Queens do take out the Viking on the right side. Great Hellion micro. 10 workers, but it looks like the Hellions are cleaned up. Serral's got such a good worker count. He's absorbing the damage reasonably well. The Marauder pickup. Oh, good hot pickup there by Kua. Just picks up that weak one, drops it out. The Medevac's going to get some very good healing. Remember, there are only 5 now, 6 Queens out on the map. The Medevac doesn't have so many hit points. Any damage on that Medevac is going to put a timer on this. Serral's leaving those 3 Queens on the low ground because he knows they could redrop, but what's he got in here? Serral's gone to 72 workers in the face of this. He's been so greedy. Okay, there is greed, and then there is what Serral's done in this game, guys. These 4 Marauders are just doing so much damage. He's even going to stim them now. Does want to take out a few more of these drones. That Medevac, you don't want to lose the Medevac, though. And that Medevac, you can see he's trying to keep it away from the Queens, but it's only a matter of time till it does go down. Is he going to stim one more time? Remember, Marauders do take 20 damage per stim, guys. Double the damage of what a Marine takes from stim. A lot of people don't realize that. They think it's just the flat 10 hit points, but damn, 15 workers going down. Bring up to 25 total. Remember, the Hellions killed 10 before these Marauders started stacking this up. And he gets 16 more kills. Great trades for Kua. And he is up on workers behind that. He's got the 1-1 upgrades. His armory's already finished, so he can go straight into 2-2 versus a player whose Evos aren't even started. His 4th command center's on the way. He's got his 3rd, which he built on location in the back. Marine Marauder tank moving forwards. There's only a couple Roaches and Mutas out, but I don't think Q is expecting the Mutas. He did see the Spire, but he doesn't seem to have respected it very much. Good micro on the Medevac, though. Does he have turrets up? He's building turrets right now, so he is getting some turrets in his mineral lines, but ooh, Serral with some fancy micro. Does pick off a few Marines there with the Mutas. He's trying to make Lings and Banes. No Baneling speed ready. Actually, he's making Roaches because he doesn't have Bane speed. He realizes, oh, I just need things that can fight right here, right now. Serral going for the desperate move of Roach Muta. 13 Mutas are out. Oh man, there's a lot of transfusers, but he needs them. Machine gun transfusers going down, but already a Queen and a Ravager do fall. Mutas are going to come in from the behind, and Queen's going down. Lots of high energy Queens falling there. The Mutas, though, good pullbacks on these Mutas. Serral, he doesn't want to throw his Mutas away, but he's getting some good damage. He's going to go for it. Mass transfusers. A couple of them do land on the Mutas, and he loses a couple Mutas, 3 in total, but worth it to clean that push up. Now, if Kua was actually rallying across the map, he could have won the game right there. If these units arrived right then, there's what's left? A few Queens, 4 Roaches, a Ravager, 10 Zerglings with no upgrades, and the Mutas. That was a big mistake of Kua to not rally across the map there. He should have either pulled that pushback or he should have rallied to it. Because Serral, really, look at his worker count. He's being so greedy in the midst of this. Serral's switching on his Raynor, man. This is not the class. I said Serral would play lower economy, higher on units, and shut down your pushes. Heck no. He's playing fast and loose. This is not the Serral we're used to. It's the Serral that is playing much more dangerous. Does lose a few Mutas, 2 more Mutas for 7 SCVs, but the economic lead is huge. Now, his upgrades are massively delayed, as is his Baneling Nest, which he's cancelled and then rebuilt his Baneling Nest, apparently, because he was building that earlier in the game, yet it's only just finished now. 80 workers, and Serral will need some more hatcheries to keep up production, so I'd love to see him take a 5th base, either in the back or over the front. 2-2 upgrades. There's going to be a 2-2 versus 0-0 timing, but Kua's army count's a bit low, and oh no! Tank in the open! Oh my god, Kua. Big mistakes, man. He loses a tank there. I mean, he should be pushing right now for sure. He's got to start clearing the creep. I understand he's just getting his 4th established and his supply is not that impressive, but his upgrades are so much better. I mean, if he can fight 2-2 versus 0-0, Serral's army is going to look like absolute crap, mate. It's going to be look like something he found in the garbage. 2-2 Marines would be amazing, but if he's just fighting 2-3 Marines, 1 siege tank in the open, that's so good for Serral. And as Serral gets Banelings, Baneling don't care too much about the armor upgrades of the bio and their own attack upgrades. They just care about the bio having, you know, +2 attack and killing the Banelings before they can even connect with them. That's potentially the issue. Now we've got a second factory pumping Widow Mines. Cure, I mean, I can't believe Serral's supply is so good. It's insane. I think Cure feels like he should have a better position than he does. He probably doesn't realize he's down 30 supply right now. But Serral has been so greedy at every turn, even with all this economic damage. Oh, 3 turrets there, but good muter micro. Serral pulling back weak muters. Opens up a little area for himself. There is a Thor in a medevac that'll push him back. Oh, Thor needs to unload. But look at that. The muters now can rotate into the back. You got to get that repair going right now. And he didn't use auto repair there. So Cure, I think one of those pros who doesn't know the hotkey for auto repair, guys. If you're going to click like that, you can just put them on auto repair so you don't have to spam click it. I mean, I guess they might start repairing each other or something else. So maybe you still want a manual click, but interesting to see that he did not use the Alt plus R or Alt plus whatever your repair hotkey is to toggle auto repair. Very little known fact that Alt plus that repair hotkey is what you use to toggle that on and off. Infestation pit on the way for Serral. 84 drones right now. We've got an 8 Marine drop on the left and a big push moving down that right side. But Serral's 1-1 has now finished. So he's made it past the 4 upgrade disadvantage that we're talking about. 2 upgrade disadvantage, not nearly as scary. Still very good for Cure as he's up 15 army supply. And Cure, oh, he's going to be a little supply blocked in a moment, but oh, he's got to be careful. Great Widow Mine, gets 14 Zerglings. Muter's going to fly in the back door. I love the Marine drop on the right side. He says, hey, buddy, if your Muters aren't defending, the drops can do good. But Serral just throws caution to the wind, says, fuck it, I don't care. I can split Zerglings to defend the drops. I don't need my Muters at home. Finds a very low amount of defense at home and is just picking up 10 more SCVs. Marauders that are popping out. He's going to go after these turrets in the main, grabs one of them, gets on out. So much regen happening on those Muters, and they're really not taking that much damage. The drop does slide in the back door there. Cure there, going a bit of a sneaky one, but Cure! His Marines all stuck up the front. Oh, the Widow Mine's not getting the big hits they need. His army's way too clumped. Huge disaster for Cure. He does save some of the units, so thankfully he doesn't take the disastrous hit that it could have been, but still a very scary situation that he finds himself in, just wandering on creep. And Serral might not have had the best position, but he realized that Cure's army was just not organized at all, and so he jumped on it, forces Cure back, and it feels like Cure is lacking momentum in this series right now. Serral is the one who's confidently bouncing around with his Muters. The drop in the main does get cleaned up. The Muters are once again in the back door, but there are some Marines and a Thor nearby. Serral, though, he's just preserving the Muter count. At no point is he losing track of this. It's because Q is not putting pressure on the front right now. That Widow Mine there, a hero, does get a few more Zerglings and spots the army movement. Even more turrets going down. Q is like, can you fuck off, mate? Banelings fighting the Marines and Marauders on the front. Oh, it was a good last second spready from Cure that it does avert complete disaster. It does mean a lot of Banelings go down, but units lost tab still looks good for Serral because those Muters have just been racking up the value. And at this point, Serral has closed the upgrade gap to 2. I mean, I guess 3-3 is about to finish at the same time. So maybe not closed it, but he's got Adrenal and an Ultra Cavern on the way. He does also have +2 flyer weapons, and he's got Carapace. So his Muters are slowly going to become less bad at fighting the Marines, right? As those upgrades do catch up. There's always a moment where it's like 2-2 or 3-3 Marines. You've got +1 Muters, and your Muters just disappear. But as he gets some armor upgrades, they'll survive a little bit longer. 5th base is up for Cure, though. Cure, remember, is on 8 barracks, so he's got 4 tech labs, 4 reactors on those, and he's got 1 tech lab, 1 reactor factory, so he's got a mixture of Widow Mines and Thors coming out. Oh, finds a full Marine drop. Ow, and the turrets never got replaced in the main. Cure has not shored up his Muter defense, and this is a huge mistake. A lot of people will leave a few Widow Mines in the main, or they'll leave, you know, 12 Marines and a medevac or something like that, which is enough to dissuade this many Mutalisks, for sure. But as it is now, moving Widow Mines around to defend, not really something that works. Serral there, great target fire. The SCV is milling about in fear and pain. Cure really has just lost control of this game. It feels like he's directionless, you know? It's one of these things like, dude, how long have the Muters been in your back door? Why is he not queuing up drops? If his army's just chilling, there should be 8 Marines dropping here. There should be 8 Marines dropping over here. You have to use your multitasking as a top-tier multitasking Terran player to punish the Zerg for having all their Muters on your side of the map, to do something to pull his attention away. So if he's dealing with drops in 2 spots, bam, his Muters might actually fly into your Thors and Widow Mines. But a big mistake for Cure in this scenario to not capitalize on that. Uh-oh, Baneling's coming in. If he can get the planetary, it'll be a big boom boom for Serral. Serral going for the big boom boom. He wants the SCVs as well, but because of that, he does not get the planetary. Bit of a mistake for him. Can he take out the right side, though? Planetary is exposed. If you get that command center as well, that would be big. Does get rid of the planetary, but there's a new one that will be finishing nearby very shortly. Mutas are now pulling out. These trades definitely not directly super cost efficient for Serral, but he does, of course, slow down Kua. Now, Kua, at this point, he's got an option. Keep building command centers, rebuild your SCVs, go to Ghosts, play the Mega Macro game, or just replace those SCVs with army, try to get a mega-sized army and go for it. And right now, he's up 30 army supply. Serral has so many workers. He's also got 5 queens chewing up 10 supply, 4 ravagers chewing up 12 supply while contributing absolutely nothing to the fight. Ravagers are so shit at this stage of the game. But the mutas come in and again find more damage. And the thing is, he's supply blocked as well. Finally, Q is building depots, but it really feels like just by going first, Serral's kind of fainting this way, that way, going and picking when and where the fights happen. And at no point has he had to really show his defensive prowess. We know he's good at defense, but he's not having to show it because Kua is just pushed into his corner and he's hesitant to move out and get countered. The Mutalisks do take some big boomies there, finally. The Widow Mines, we see the explosive power, and they're very good at scaring those mutas back in this game. 13 mutas have gone down. That's a almost pure Baneling army. A lot of Marauders here, but where are the Widow Mines? Where are the Widow Mines? Oh no, no Widow Mines in this army, guys. The Banelings, I mean, oh man, the Marines trying to spread back. Not the best hits of all time. Are those Thors going to go down? Okay, one of the Thors gets saved. If he can repair that, he'll get some good value, but he drops it, and the Ultras instantly chow down the Marines and Marauders in this last Thor, trying to hang on, and he should be able to do just that. But on the bottom left at the same time, the mutas have flown in, taken out the turret, and that means the planetary is in dire straits. Right side is defended, but the left side, he could not afford to lose that base. He could not afford to lose that base, but he's going to lose it. SCV's coming in for the repair at the last minute, but not quite enough, just a fraction of a second too late, and now Q is pissed off, and he kind of feels like he has to counterattack. He runs forward. He realizes, hey, 4 Marauders and a Thor aren't going to win the game for me. He's losing barracks in the main, and Q are just getting picked apart by Mutalisks here on Moondance. And, I mean, you've got to look at this game and say, hey, dude, I mean, I think we can really see what's happened. Kua keeps gathering his whole army, wanting to go for a frontal push. Serral goes in, takes out his anti-air. Kua goes back and defends. Kua gathers up his whole army, gets ready for a frontal push. Serral counterattacks, and he falls back. I mean, Kua, it's like double up your defense or commit to the attack. You got to do one or the other, but just timing-wise, Serral's always hitting him when he's not ready. Rolls in one more time, and you can see some good micro for Kua, but good micro ain't going to cut it when you're down to just your initial 3 bases. He's going to have to tap out there despite getting so much damage done with that Marauder squad early in that game. Stacking up 26 worker kills. Serral was so greedy, and even though his upgrades were way behind, his Mutalisks just kept finding the openings. I feel like Kua, has he just not played against mutas in the last month? Something weird has gone on, because that was not Kua's best anti-Mutalisk play. Serral digs his way out of the grave with some Raynor-style greed and some sick mutas. Alright. Nice recovery in that first map. The roach pressure didn't quite go as intended. Serral in the bottom left side now. Tropical Sacrifice. His mutas, I don't think he can count on his mutas getting that much damage done in a second game. So I would imagine he swaps to like Hydraling Bane, you know, Lurkers, that sort of stuff here. A more familiar style, just because Kua should be way more mentally prepared. It's one of those things where as the viewer, you kind of want to see Serral do the exact same style again. You're like, go mutas again. Let's, like, you know, because you want to see, is Kua going to shit the bed again? Because let's be, I mean, I love Kua, guys. He's a great player, but I do want to say he did shit the bed a little bit, you know? Let's be real. Now, Kua is going Command Center first. This is so popular in the meta right now. I remember last time Command Center first was popular in the meta. I actually believe it was Command Center first, and Serral was like, yeah, nothing really counters it. And I was like, doesn't One Base Ravager get a free win versus this? And I feel like soon after that, I think I planted the seed, because this was years ago. I remember him on, I think it was Lightshade. Soon after that in a tournament going One Base Ravager versus someone, and I was like, holy shit, he's doing One Base Ravager, which is one of the most, excuse me, is one of the most all-in strategies. It is like such a gamble, right? And I don't think it worked either. So this is like classic. Whenever I tell a pro gamer, I'm like, hey, you want free wins, man? You know, I watch all the games. I know people's strategies. I'm like, I think it was verse Beyond. Yeah, it was verse Beyond. And I was like, Beyond never scouts, man. You know, you can kill him with One Base Ravager, right? He goes Command Center first on this map. I don't think it worked. But yeah, that's pro gamers. Be wary taking advice from commentators for sure. It's not like they just take the advice either, like because they don't really trust a commentator to fully understand all the intricacies, but we're able to plant the seed sometimes if we're convincing enough. Now, either way, Command Center First is very popular right now. It's really damned good. It's really damn good because it just gives you a nice economic start. We've seen a lot of 2-base pushes off of this, right? Raynor in GSL really struggled with it. He really struggled with it, but it's not just him. I mean, we've seen beyond like 3-0 Solar in weekly cups, even when Solar Scouts are coming. Raynor scouted Bunny doing it, still died to it. It's just because the 2-base bio tank push comes so hard off it. Now, what I really like as well is like Beyond, for instance. He does that 2-base push so regularly. Sometimes, off this opening, he'll go for the 3 barracks. They'll scout 3 barracks before 3rd command center. They go, oh, it's a big 2-base push. And he immediately follows up with a 3rd command center. And he actually cuts bio production for a second to do it. And that allows him to make it look like it's a huge 2-base all-in. And it is still a very committed 2-base push, where he has a pretty scary, you know, Marine tank medevac stim push. But it's nowhere near as committed. And there's like, oh, there is still a 3rd base landed at, you know, 6 minutes 30, 7 minutes or whatever it is behind it. So there's still actually an issue for it. Of course, for those just tuning in live, we have the person who cast this live in the chat, Beomorph, the legend himself. This is, of course, the Maturino Gladiators Cup, which was held on it by Alpha Rex, running that one. Just one of the recent weekends, and it was back-to-back with Theater of Dreams. Another tournament. They ran 2 $5,000 tournaments on a Saturday and a Sunday, I believe it was. I was like, what the hell? Alpha Rex is too good for this scene. Oh my god, look at that. It's an Artosa loop. Oh! Yeah, I forgot, because there's Taster loops on the other map. I forgot it's Artosa loops on this map. Big Artosis fans and Tastosis fans who have made this map. Anyway, let's talk about the strats. We've got a Viking again and Stim, so this looks like the same follow-up. Because if you come with an Overlord, you see a Viking, you see an upgrade there, you think, oh, it's a Marauder push again, Marauder Hellbat, but it's not. It's just going to be a 3rd command center and then 2 more barracks going down, I would imagine. Could be the 2-base push that we talked about, but I would expect a 3rd command center in the wall any moment now. Serral droning on up. Notice he's put back on gas pretty early, though, actually. Because his Ling speed's finished. It's 4 minutes. He's already got over 100 gas banked, which tells me Serral might be going 430 double Evo chamber. Now that he's up a game in the series, he might be confident doing that. Overlord tries to fly in. He sees 3 Marines, which is a higher than normal Marine count, which does deny scouting. So he's like, okay, you're trying to hide something. He doesn't know what that necessarily means. Could be a Hellbat timing. You know, could be a lot of different things. Sometimes it's Hellbat Marine medevac. And it is indeed the 3 barracks. So, Q is going to go for the 3 barracks, the engineering bay. We'll see potentially a 3rd gas. No, 5 barracks. He's going all in. It's a 2-base all in for Q. Command center first into 2-base all in. What's great about this strategy as the Terran is there isn't a lot of choices you have to make. You've picked this strategy before the game starts. You just have to deny scouting and hit your push. And it's all premeditated. For Serral, he's trying to play a more standard game. He's going for the Lair, which did start 22 seconds ago. Okay, so 4:35, Lair and Baneling Nest. Now, why is that timing so important? Because the moment Lair finishes, you want to start Baneling speed, and the moment Baneling speed finishes, you can actually engage the Terran properly. So that's a really important thing, because when does the Terran push out, and how long does he have to get a really sick position and do some damage before Baneling speed kicks in? That's a big question for us. Now, Serral doesn't have Overlord speed, but quick reaction with the Queen. If the Viking wants that Overlord, it will have to lose a lot of hit points, and it looks like indeed Kua is going to commit to that. Serral's already almost supply blocked here, so gets unsupply blocked immediately. Resupply blocked, very nicely done. 60 drones for Serral. Serral's building a 4th hatchery. Now, this is where Raynor goes to 75 workers and bees a greedy boy. But Serral, he doesn't have enough info. All he sees, though, is a full depot wall. Normally, people build a 3rd command center in the wall. So many depots being built actually in of itself tells you there's a good chance your opponent is doing a huge push. So Serral is massing queens. He's going 12 queens. He's building just 1 more drone. So he's staying at about 58, 59 drones, and he's just going to start massing Ling Bane. Baneling speed is started up. The push has only just started moving out, and already only 40 seconds, 50 seconds till Baneling speed. So Serral's timings are crisp. He's going to have Baneling speed at about 6 minutes 30. Oh, he is in such a good position. Even though his upgrades are late in this game, I don't think it matters because this is going to probably be all decided pre-upgrades. 2 tanks are landed, Vikings, some Hellions is pushing forward. The creep there is buying time. Look at this angle for Serral. He's spreading on the south and on the north as well. The right, the north, the south, the east, and the west. Kalaris somewhere. Indefatigable. He is a very, very confusing boner right now because when people set up sexy flanks, he gets excited as a British caster boy. Ling Bane getting set up on the right side. Baneling speed is almost done. The Marines coming in. The Queens are going to be able to force a few stims out of that bio. Remember, there's only 2 medevacs. They are going to have a bit of a tough time The Baneling speed still not quite done. 1-1 does start up, so Serral is still thinking about the future, not just the here and the now. The tank's getting some good shots, but those queens are a big old hit point sponge. Oh, he's setting up on the top as well. He gets a couple Marines there, does take some tank shots and pulls back. Great angling by Serral. Oh my god, the way his queens are pulling back, he keeps baiting stims out. So Q is damaging his own Marines, and he's waiting for Kua to overextend. He's waiting to have the perfect flank set up. Lots of Ling Bane on the left. He's still got that Baneling flank. He's going for it. He's coming in from all sides. Serral coming in from all sides. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Ling Bane crashing in from every single angle. And that is the perfect surround that 2018 Serral would be proud of. That is the sort of surround we keep seeing players not pull off, and that's why they died at this push. But if you don't give those Marines anywhere to run, we saw that Kua was forced to pick them up into the medevacs and drop them out. So a beautiful play by Serral. He doesn't let Kua exercise that fantastic pro gamer micro. Now, a lot of queens are starting to fall. He does have to be careful. He's lost a few queens. Only 3? Are you kidding me? Only 3? My god, they've been blanketing transfuse like crazy. And now he goes for the run by. He knows that Q has to be a bit more cautious. Also, if he can respread creep through this middle area, that would be great. But he's going to go for the run by, and that can be huge. Now, there are medevacs nearby. Q should be able to defend this okay. The Lings kind of get past the vision, and they will get at least a couple of Marines here. Oh, there we go. They're going to get 4 Marines. And not only that, but it slows down the advance. Because Q has to group up at home. And because of that, it's hard for him to reinforce. These Lings can now pull back and flank this army. That's the advantage of cutting off the reinforce. Ling Bane Queen is here. Q is going to push in. Serral has way too many Lings on the other side of the map. He really should be setting up for the flank right now. Now that he sees this push, you can see he's like, oh shit, get back there. Q, he's going to be quick to reinforce. He realizes, oh, I've got to get over there. Third command center is on the way for Q. He's going to try and transition out of this. Remember, Serral has not droned at all, but his 1-1 kicks in. And that's a big turning point. That's going to give some power to the finish. Zerg. The Lings coming in from behind. Once again, nowhere for those Marines to go. And that is what you have to do. If you give those Marines somewhere to stutter step to, you're going to be in trouble. But, oh, I think Kua needed to pull back. This was not a good fight. Serral just too many Lings, equalizing the upgrades with the 1-1 as well. And that puts an end to Kua's hopes and dreams in this game. Kua's going to try and pull back up the ramp. Raise the depot, mate. Did he just put that tank on the depot? No, I think he's all right. You don't want to push in there as Serral. 11 drones. 2-2 upgrades. Infestation pit. Droning that 4th base. No doubt thinking about a 5th hatchery as well. Serral is now taking a massive worker lead. Yes, he sat on 58, 59 drones, making sure he had an abundance of army for a long time. Yet despite that, he still took very careful engagements. And the moment he shuts down Kua, suddenly it's like fully saturated 4th base. Hello? Hive? Hello? He's going to go to the late game, and 2nd eBay and Armory only now going down for Kua. Kua's 3rd orbital just now starting. Q is going to have 1 more protracted Marine tank and even Liberator push. Liberators are usually a sign of desperation for the Terran. They're very much a tempo play to just try and shove through right here and now. He does already have 9 medevacs, so, and he's got a bit of gas banked up, so it's like, hey, why not? They are very good. Queens aren't the most effective at pushing through them. If you can get 4 Liberators, sometimes a Ling Bane Queen army, especially if the Queen count gets whittled down, it just doesn't quite have enough anti-air. Serral, though, is playing with this ridiculous Queen count, and man, it's so many Queens. So many Queens. 13 Queens on this map. Just never being short on that hit point sponge, that anti-air. It's fantastic. Nice little triple drop for just 12 Marines, so a lot of medevac healing on those. Queen and some creep tumors going to be pushed back on the north side. Queen, Overlord, a few creep tumors go down in the bottom as well, but only 1 creep tumor actually. There's still a lot of creep spreading everywhere. Trying to move around. Lib's trying to go up the north side, but they're getting spotted everywhere they go. There's Overlords and Lings all over the shop. Pick up, pick up, pick up, Kua! Okay, does pick up just in time. Oof, a couple of Marines out here in the middle. It is Overlord speed now, so the Overlords could potentially get out, but there we go. Saves those Marines in the bottom as well. Killing these 3 Overlords, just a small amount of damage compared to the size of Serral's economy. Q is going to try to max out. He's got more Libs, more tanks, more Marines. It's just a big old 2-2 bio tank all in, essentially. But Vipers are there. Abducts, of course, pull Liberators out of siege mode, for those who don't know. And it also can pull tanks, or Blinding Cloud tanks. So the tanks and the Libs get so countered by the Vipers, it feels like Serral's very hard at, far ahead on the tech. He's also got an Ultra Cavern. Adrenal Glands, and his 3-3 on the way. So all of the timers are like running out here for Kua. Now Kua's up 18 army supply. You can imagine if Kua was maxed right now, he could have like, oh, 100 Marines and maybe just win with raw numbers and firepower. But once those Ultras hit the field, Marines are not going to be as good. Tanks and Libs will still do good damage through the Ultra armor, but Marines not so much. Chitinous plating already on the way. Yeah, especially if you get an extra armor upgrade, you get +3 Carapace versus +2 Marines. It's like shooting pea shooters, man. It's like trying to fight the fight an old Tiger tank, World War II, with one of those little. What was the light British tank? Was it a Stuart? I think it was a Stuart. With its little mini turret. Trying to remember the what was the Company of Heroes expansion called? That was a good one. To be fair, though, nothing beat the original Wehrmacht and American factions. They were better, but the slit trenches were fun. Marines coming in. Oh, big Ling Bane counter. Run, Kua, get those SCVs out of there. Oh, he's going to lose a lot of SCVs. No engagement on the front, but every SCV gets wiped on that third. Well, he was already pretty all in, and he's like, yep, now I just have a bit less of a Marine reinforce. Ooh, Liberators coming on that north side as well. Double siege up will take out the Queen. Drones pulling, Spore moving. Other Queens moving up to defend as well. Bit of damage there, but he needs a bit more than a bit of damage. The Banelings getting ready. Now, these Banelings are really badly positioned because they're going to run into this terrain. So Serral's not in a good angle right now. That's a really weird angle. Oh, but he does actually get on those bio on the left. Ling Bane comes in from the right as well as Blinding Clouds and Parasitic Bombs on everything, and holy crud, he has the numbers. It don't even matter. Parasitic Bombs don't actually kill anything, but he clears all the ground, and it's just a handful of Libs, a few Marines, a medevac left over. The Libs will kill a bunch more of the Ling Bane as Serral pulls back, but Serral's got 5 Ultras with Chitinous Plating, Anabolic Synthesis. That's right, boys. These are going to be the TRT Ultralisks. They are going to be juiced to the gills, man. They are going to have hair growing in all the places. They've got back knee. They've got that weird mastoectomy or whatever it is where you get the fucking the tit lump. Tanks and Libs and Marines coming forward. These Ultras, when they pop, they're just going to cleave through this army. Abducts could be great on these Liberators. Does he go for the Abducts? Yeah, he's going to start pulling these Liberators out of siege mode. The Ling Bane does go in a bit early, but even without the Ultras there, he clears 90% of the army, and now the Ultras are coming out. Parasitic Bomb and the medevac as well. Serral is too far ahead, and he's making it look simple from here. Where are the Ultras? The Ultras apparently didn't get control group, guys. Serral somehow messed up control grouping. He's got 4 Ultras sitting under the Overlords over there. They're just, oh, we're just observing, mate. We're just observing. Serral finally realizes, he moves his Queens over. He's like, where the hell? What are you guys doing? Does decide to add them into his army. Comes in from all sides. Serral and forgetting his Ultralisks. Name a more iconic duo. That's right. Yes, we're all thinking about that BlizzCon match versus Raynor. GG, though. Serral does end up crushing through in the end. Just too far ahead there, and especially with the upgrade advantage. Just, I love the surround. I've got to go back and look at that at the end of this match really quickly, because let's point out 2 things. Number 1, how quick his lair and Baneling speed was. Raynor's been getting greedier and greedier, where he's been starting his lair closer to 5 minutes, but Serral was so quick on it. And I got to tell you, as a Terran player, pushing with this push any earlier than this is near impossible. But you're expecting a lot of players, 7 minutes 30 is when Bane speed finishes. Serral? Baneling speed is done at 6 minutes and 53 seconds. And that is just so difficult to deal with, because you're still waiting for this creep to recede. And I love the way Serral sets up this flank, because he's got Ling Bane there. He sets up some Ling Bane on the north as well. Yeah, even though it was only a little bit of Ling Bane, he comes in from all sides, and there's just nothing you can do as Kua there. There's nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. I think ideally for Kua, if we think about it, he sends like his Hellions out to the side and finds the flank early, ahead of time, right? That's maybe something he could have done here, is send the Hellions out to find the flank and engage it and kite it down a little bit. Because if you go in and you intercept one of their flanking forces before they're ready to pull the trigger and come in from all sides, you can really make it very difficult. Because it's hard to manage an army here, here, and here when the Terran's actually engaging with all of them. But Serral just kind of calmly set up that flank, shut this down, and business as usual from there. Beautiful play by Serral.